You may be wondering from the title of this video, what in the world is Pascal's wager? Which means you haven't been watching my videos. Pascal's wager is the idea that even if you're not sure whether or not there is a God or an afterlife, it's still smarter to live as if God is real. Because if you're wrong and God is real, you gain everything. But if you're wrong and he's not, you haven't lost much, right? Does it really make your life worse? Now here's where things get interesting. In 1 Corinthians 15, Paul says something that sounds like he might disagree when he says, "If in this life only we have hoped in Christ, we are of all people most to be pitied." Which sounds like he's saying, if there's no resurrection, then Christians are worse off than everyone else. Is Paul rejecting Pascal's wager? Let's take a closer look. You see, back then, Christians were being beaten, thrown in jail, even killed for their faith, which is why even Paul himself says, why are we putting ourselves in danger every hour? So when Paul says that Christians are to be pitied if there's no resurrection, I'm not sure he's talking about everyday believers in peaceful countries like modern-day America. He's talking about his context, which was a context in which there could be a lot of suffering for your beliefs. Modern Christian in America, Paul in prison. Huge difference. Now, you and I might face some struggles for being a Christian in America, typically not life and death danger. Also, Paul wasn't thinking if there's no God, Christianity is a waste. Much more likely he was thinking, if Jesus didn't rise from the dead, then we're wrong and we've offended the real God, whoever that real God is. You see, that's not the same thing as saying there is no God. Because you see, back then, everyone believed in God, especially Jews. The big debate was whether Jesus was the Messiah who rose from the dead. So Paul is saying, if we're wrong about Jesus, then we're in trouble with God, whoever that real God is. So would Paul have disagreed with Pascal's wager? Probably not. Context is always king. And in Paul's context, it was a world where people were risking everything, and where being wrong meant angering the real God, not just being mistaken. For most of us today, especially in these parts of the world where we're blessed to have the religious freedoms that we do, Pascal's wager still holds up. Why? Because if God isn't real, what have you really lost, right? But if he is real, then you've gained everything, my friend. Thanks for watching.